Welcome to our video on the relationship between supply and demand, brought to you by Kanjo.com. Let's take a trip to the land of Kanjolia, where our friend Mike is the vice president at Kanjo Manufacturing. Mike has just invented a new pair of shoes, and he's trying to find out how much money he can make on this new product. Specifically, he needs to know what price can he sell the shoes for, and how many shoes can he expect to sell. These questions can be answered by looking at the supply and demand relationship. So let's take a look at the following graph. On one axis, you have the quantity, the number of shoes that Mike can expect to sell. On the other axis, you have the price, which is the amount of money that he can expect to generate from each sale. So let's start with the demand curve. Now, all of economics boils down to a simple concept, which is that people like more money. And demand is no different from this. Basically, if prices are lower, if people have to spend less money, they're going to be willing to buy more. That totally makes sense. If things are cheaper and they're still good quality, people are going to demand a higher quantity of the good. So the demand curve is what's called downward sloping, where as things get cheaper and cheaper, the quantity demanded goes up. Now, let's move on to the supply curve. Kanjo Manufacturing is, in this case, the supplier. They're the ones making the shoes. Now, they have a completely different incentive. They also want to make as much money as they can. So they are willing to manufacture more and more shoes as the price goes up. Because if the price goes up, they're making more money. And so it totally makes sense for them to put out a larger quantity if the price is higher. Now, here's where it gets interesting. You see that there's an intersection between the supply and demand curves. And these two lines point to this intersection juncture. This is the price to quantity relationship. This point represents the price, the amount that each shoe will be sold for in this economy, and the quantity, the number of shoes that are going to be sold in this economy. So that is a very important point to understand because it can help companies understand how much revenue they're going to generate. If you multiply the price and the quantity, you get the total revenue that a company will expect. So this is the basics behind supply and demand. It's really not complex, but it is the foundation to a lot of economic principles. Thank you very much for watching. For similar videos, I recommend you check out my website, www.kanjo.com.